From 12 News, this is Newsmakers.
It has been a wet and stormy end to the summer, and the city of Providence has taken it on the chin.
Some people trapped in a flooded vehicle.
With storms expected to increase in frequency and severity over the coming years, is the city's infrastructure up to the task? Plus, a new agreement with 4 private colleges that will mean significant revenue for the cash-strapped capital. Our guest this week on Newsmakers, Providence Mayor Brett Smiley. Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Tim White, alongside 12 News Politics editor Ted Nesi. Our guest this week, Providence Mayor Brett Smiley. Good to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Let's start with the weather, and I want to point out that we're recording this on a Friday morning before the impacts of Lee are felt, and many people are watching this on a Sunday morning, so I kind of want to zoom out. It feels like the city has been getting whacked a lot with weather. There was a tornado scare earlier in the summer, severe flooding, as we saw off the top of the show, including torrential rains that impacted PVDFest. We'll get to that in a bit. So the weather's been active, to say the least. Is the city's infrastructure being tested, and if so, is it passing?
It's absolutely being tested, and I think it's passing for how it's been built. The question is it built to live in today's world? Mm-hmm. And so our stormwater system is maxed out. It's functioning. It just wasn't built to handle this much water. Our streams and rivers are swollen, and after a summer like this, where it rained so much, even an extra inch of rain can cause flooding. And sometimes homeowners and business owners say it barely rained, but when everything is soaked like a sponge that's already wet, it can't hold any more water. And so we're having a lot of discussions about expanding the capacity of our stormwater system, but then also integrating green infrastructure technologies, because I don't think in this new world we're ever going to be able to build or engineer our way out of this type of weather. We need to think about other ways beyond just bigger pipes.
I remember when you were on the campaign trail, you took a whack at the city for the infrastructure and some flooding that was happening at the time, and you just gave an answer where you're looking ahead to things. Have you done anything so far in your term to address the concerns that you brought up on the campaign trail?
Oh yeah, so the Pleasant Valley Parkway in Elmhurst has a channel, a canal in it that we dredged for the first time in decades. And the homeowners there have now seen a significant reduction in what was chronic flooding because of the dredging that we pushed through. We've now started dredging the Meshasik River along Canal Street, and that's actually the start of the cause that we saw the other night on Branch Avenue, because the West River flows into the Meshasik, and so as these river systems back up, it backs up eventually to a roadway or a business or to a home. So we're dredging like we've not dredged before. We've made, and had some press on this, real hard infrastructure upgrades to our hurricane barriers.
Right, some maintenance.
Exactly. And then in this year's capital improvement plan, my first capital improvement plan, we made over $20 million of investments, or are seeking council approval for $20 million of investments in sewer upgrades and sewer infrastructure. And so it has been on my mind from when I was a candidate to now. We're making progress with the resources that were previously available, and we're seeking additional funding and prioritize that in our budget.
You mentioned, you talked about the green infrastructure, and I think that can be amorphous to people at home who aren't thinking about this stuff as much as a mayor of a city is. I assume you're talking about stuff like the impervious surfaces you always hear about, like can we have less asphalt so there's another place for the water to go, but fill that in on your side.
Yeah, here's maybe 3 good examples that people can picture, and believe it or not, these things make a real difference. So start with paving. So if we were to replace pavement with permeable surfaces, so if you still want to be able to park on your driveway, they have these kind of waffle pavers that have dirt and grass in between, so the rain actually soaks in as opposed to runs into the street and into our storm system. Bioswales, these are when we cut a hole in the curbing and then have a little bump out, if you will, of gravel and sometimes plantings, so that as the water is racing down the street, as opposed to finding its way to a drain, which is over full, it diverts into this natural place for it to be caught. Third example is rain barrels. So instead of having people's gutters, downspouts, tie into or flow onto the street, into the storm sewer, you can capture that in a barrel and use it to water your lawn, water your plants, or let it just evaporate naturally. Believe it or not, if every homeowner in Providence had a rain barrel, it would make a meaningful difference. These are 50-gallon barrels, and there's ways to do it that are not unattractive. And so these are strategies that are pennies on the dollar for the billion-dollar projects that we see for some of these sewer projects, and could help divert that water from hitting the storm sewer in the first place.
One other question on this, and this in fairness isn't your project, but I'm curious if you thought about it. So that huge CSO, combined sewer overflow project that the Narragansett Bay Commission's been up to for many years now, well over $1 billion. This is people we sometimes call it the big dig for sewers. It's, you never see it, but it's a place for the water to go and hold so it can eventually get to the wastewater treatment plants. I did find myself watching this after reporting that in the past and thinking, well, gosh, we just spent a huge amount of money in Rhode Island on that in recent years, and yet the water is already, flowing in these big rain events. Is that just because it was built not predicting how bad things would get now, or are they really meant for two different scenarios? Do you have any feel for that?
Well, one, they're not meant, there are going to be major storms that no amount of infrastructure can catch, first of all. And I don't think we should, as taxpayers, want us to build for the actual worst case scenario, because it's not going to get used regularly. Two, I do think it's helping. I mean, there's been news reports that people are shellfishing in the Upper Bay for the first time in generations. And that's a direct result of CSO and other programs like that that have significantly cleaned the bay up, because we don't have wastewater or untreated water going right into the bay. And three, the CSO is a multi-phase project. There's another phase going on right now, and so that project is not complete. These are related. They're not unrelated. But we also spend money, we consume carbon emissions, and we're paying to treat water, in many cases natural rainwater that then just gets contaminated with salt or other things that are on the roads, which if we could keep it where it fell, on the lawn, in the parkway, et cetera, then we don't have to consume all of that energy, better meet our climate goals otherwise, to not have to treat it at all, because it's not going into the bay.
Let's pivot to PVDFest, and I do want to put weather aside for a moment. I know you want to talk about that in terms of the impacts there, but look, we heard a lot of negative feedback about PVDFest. Food trucks felt separated from the festival itself. Artists complained about the layout. As far as I know, City Hall hasn't released attendance numbers. Was it a bust?
It was not a bust. You don't want to talk about the weather, but attendance was dramatically reduced.
But the weather didn't impact the layout complaints that we're hearing about and all that. That's why
that's true. But you ask if it was a bust, and the weather played a huge impact in that. Many of the food trucks did quite well. Who had a great PVDFest. I had a PVDFest. Wonderful. Sunday was a total washout. I ended up canceling the whole day. This new footprint took some adjustment from our vendors, from our artists, and from the visitors. But it is a great footprint. That 195 Innovation Park is a wonderful venue. The pedestrian bridge is, I think, the finest piece of public infrastructure that we have in the city of Providence. And there was a lot to like about it. Is it the final footprint? Absolutely not. We're going to take feedback, listen to what worked and what didn't work, and be willing to make adjustments. This festival, it didn't even used to be called PVDFest. It's been around for over a decade through a couple different iterations, and it continues to evolve, and it will continue to evolve. So we're listening to all the feedback from the food truck vendors, from the craft vendors, from the artists, and from the visitors to say what worked, what didn't work, and we'll make adjustments going forward.
Dan McGowan in the Boston Globe today alluded to something I've heard a couple of people say, which is that when you took away the sort of roaming with open containers, it became more like a farmer's market than sort of a fun, I don't know, wild and crazy festival kind of thing. That was obviously something I know you felt strongly about. We talked about it before. Is that a permanent change in your view, or could you see bringing back the wandering around open containers policy of prior years?
There was definitely a different vibe this year, and that was intentional. I've been upfront about that. I wanted a more family-friendly festival and less of a drinking in the street fair, and we accomplished that. What we need to do is we don't want it to be no fun, but we want it to be safe and we want it to be accessible to all, which includes accessible to families. And so anything and everything is on the table for future festivals, venue, drinking rules, etc. But I don't see that as a failure this year. I loved the fact that there were many young families. There was a public art installation by a group called New House that had these giant inflatables throughout the park. I mean, those things were packed all weekend with little kids having a blast. And by the way, some adult big kids also having a blast on those things. And I think that that's something to celebrate and be excited about.
You brought up the phrase "no fun." I mean, is your staff saying to you, Mayor, you're going to be branded as a no fun mayor? Are you worried about that at all?
I'm not worried about that.
I mean, you say yourself you're a policy wonk. That's what you lean into.
Yeah.
So that's not a concern for you.
It's not.
Okay. All right. Let's shift to pilot.
Yes.
Payment in lieu of
Speaking
taxes.
of fun,
yes.
Mayor.
Here we are.
Well, I mean, it's worth saying that a doubling of college payments, $220 million.
All right, let me ask the question.
Is a more relevant news story than a rainout of PVD Festival on Sunday.
Well, look, hey, PVD Fest is a big part of the city's identity, and we got a lot of feedback on that.
Yeah.
So it's an important topic. So is pilot.
Yes.
Payment in lieu of taxes. You struck a significant deal with 4 private colleges in the city that will mean $200 million or so over 20 years. What tangible things will residents see as a result of this money, early on, not 20 years down the road?
So last fiscal year, I started waving the red flag that the city was looking at financial challenges because of the expiration of federal funds. Providence, like a lot of other cities around the country, received a lot of money post-pandemic through the federal government that plugged a bunch of budget gaps, and that money is going away. That was part of the reason we had to raise taxes last year to get ready for all of that money going away in the next year. What residents will see next year is a balanced budget, hopefully without a tax increase, because of this new agreement.
You're already confident of that this early in the current fiscal year?
Well, I say hopefully without it, but this is the plan. And this is the plan, and this is part of one of the things about these funds is they're not segregated or designated or earmarked. They go right into the general fund to help us pay for all the things we do as a city, and it's one of the ways in which we balance our budget and get ready for the expiration of these federal funds.
This is a big topic, so we're going to continue this conversation after the break, which I'm not ready to go to yet, but let me ask a follow-up here. Brown University could potentially get quite a few outs in direct cash payments in this deal, or the second part of the deal. They can reduce their cash payments by 50% every year if they, for one, generate new tax revenue, and they're getting a significant chunk of city land out of the agreement. City Councilwoman Shelley Peterson posted on social media, quote, "Brown University doesn't need to be incentivized to develop property. They will always develop if it is in their best interest. In my opinion, the colleges should contribute simply because they can. They already receive substantial benefit and shouldn't be looking to offset their contributions." What do you say to her?
I would say, first of all, they are simply contributing because they can. That's the first part of the agreement. And then secondly, in the second, so there's 2 agreements. There's an agreement between the 4, they're contributing just because they can, there's no strings attached. There's a separate agreement between just us and Brown, where there are these other incentives for us to work together. And President Paxson and I talked about aligning our incentives and what made this agreement different than in agreements in the past and agreements around the country. These ways in which they can reduce their payments are only when it aligns with our interest. Brown, to Councilwoman Peterson's point, Brown doesn't get credit for developing for themselves without us. This is when they choose to develop in our city for tax-paying, job-creating properties or other assets that we want. Were they to contribute to an affordable housing development, to a child care center, or to serve as a rent-paying, tax-paying tenant in something like the CIC building, which has been really important to economic development in the city. The ways in which they reduce their payments are only by agreement with the city. They can't do it unilaterally. Or they get incentivized to dispose of buildings and put them back on the tax rolls. It is a win-win. This is good for the city. and the city would be a net winner in this situation because we get the full taxation from the building they put back on the rolls, and Brown only gets a 50% discount in the payment they might have made through the MOA.
All right, why don't we take a break? When we come back, where do the talks stand with another big nonprofit or nonprofits, the hospitals? Stay with us. You're watching Newsmakers. Welcome back to Newsmakers. I'm Tim White alongside 12 News Politics editor Ted Nesi. Our guest this week, Providence Mayor Brett Smiley. Ted?
One more question on Brown, Mayor, before we talk about the hospitals. So zooming out from the specifics of this agreement, we've talked before on this show with you as well as prior mayors about the tension for Providence leaders between Brown's growth, as much as I know it frustrates some residents, leads to jobs, leads to economic activity, which is a good thing. However, the more Brown grows in tax-exempt properties, the more it can hurt Providence's revenue. It's sort of a tension there. So with this new agreement, do you feel, you mentioned the word aligned, are things aligned now that Chris Paxson can, take over a lot more Providence, or, I'm exaggerating there, but do a lot more? And as you watch it from City Hall, you'll say, yes, this is okay because we've structured things so that we can benefit too, and everyone will be in harmony.
I think we're better aligned. And for example, they now have a financial incentive to dispose of properties that maybe they don't need anymore, to put them back on the tax rolls, and that's a good thing. And they have in recent years, instead of building new buildings, been serving as a tenant to see things get built, like the CIC building. They're contemplating that and a couple other moves. That's good for us. The next and maybe final step was a piece of my legislative package last year, which was to share a piece of employment taxes with the city so that when they add jobs, we have something other than property tax with which to meet our obligations and to acknowledge the fact that they're a really important employer. We're going to rejigger that proposal a little bit and see what changes can be made to earn more legislative support than we had last year. But I do think that's the last piece of the puzzle, which is the city of Providence, just like all cities in Rhode Island, are overwhelmingly, if not exclusively, funded on property taxes. And so this property tax exemption thing is a problem, particularly in a place like Providence, which is the employment center for the entire state. And yet we don't see any employment tax revenue. And so we're going to keep working on that, and Brown was a supporter of our proposal, so like our interests are aligned. We just need to hit the objective together.
All right, so let's talk about the hospitals, and frankly, let's talk about Lifespan, the biggest nonprofit hospital group in Rhode Island. It was noticed when Alex Leslie, our Providence reporter, says, they're going to have a big announcement about pilot money. I said, are the hospitals there? She said, no, it's just the colleges. And last time you were on the show, I believe it was in June.
Yeah.
Right around the time you were on, your office said, we've had an outreach from Lifespan, the CEO. They want to meet. As far as I can tell, nothing much has happened since then. But you tell me, has there been any substantive progress on negotiating with Lifespan for a pilot agreement?
Yeah, so there's been no substantive progress. I will say that we have a meeting on the books for early October, about 3 weeks from now, to actually start negotiating.
Did you expect it to take that long to get a first meeting?
No, it's been very frustrating for me. When I was on the show last time, we had a meeting on the books for like a month after that point. And that phone call, the CEO said to me, we'll set a negotiating team after Labor Day. That meeting's now on the books for October. So all of these things seem to take weeks and pushing months. And so it is very frustrating to me. They did not make a payment last year. Lifespan has not had a formal agreement with us. They've had a policy, I guess it's fair to say, that when they have a good year, they throw us something, and when they don't, they don't. That's deeply offensive to me. So last year they did not make a payment to the city of Providence, which is not the first time they've not made a payment. And so we go into this early October meeting to try to secure an agreement that's commensurate with what we accomplished with the colleges. We've done a lot of work researching agreements between hospitals around the country with their host community. There are many ways in which to look at benchmarks to determine what's fair, and I'm not going to give up or sign an agreement until I feel like we've reached that point of a fair agreement.
It does feel like, Brown, for all the bricks thrown at Brown over the years, Brown, generally their stance has been, we agree we need to make agreements with the city. We just want to make sure we think it's good for Brown.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel at all like that's Lifespan's view. They've dragged their feet so far, it appears, this year. They sometimes just don't pay. It doesn't seem like they fundamentally agree with you that they should have to pay anything on a regular agreed to basis.
They don't. And every time I make comments, I'm sure after this airs on Sunday, there'll be a series of tweets or what have you from their PR person where they itemize all the great things they do for Providence. They talk about the number of people who get served in the emergency room, but that's their obligation. And those people have insurance or they get reimbursed by the federal government if they don't have insurance. They talk about the taxes that they pay. When they say that, they're talking about when they have rented space in some other building and they're paying property taxes because they're a tenant somewhere. That's their choice, and that's the same obligation that everyone else has, including the colleges, including Care New England, and so they don't get bonus points for that. That's a legal obligation, and so they need to make a contribution, and I'm optimistic, and I hope that the Rhode Island-based board will ask the new Massachusetts CEO how it works in Boston, because the hospitals in Boston pay meaningfully. And so this is not, we're the outlier by them not paying. We're not asking for something extraordinary. We're asking what other hospitals do in other communities.
One final question, I'll give back to Tim. Could they just call your bluff, though? You have basically no real leverage over them other than kind of browbeating them on Newsmakers and in other public settings?
They have no legal obligation to pay. That is absolutely true. But there are other people with concerns in this area, the state legislature, our federal delegation, other partners who are now looking at every nonprofit institution in the city of Providence is making a payment except for Lifespan.
So you could call people that have leverage.
It begs the question of why not you? Everyone else has figured it out. Care New England has figured it out. Roger Williams Hospital has figured it out. All the 4 private colleges have figured it out. Everybody but you. And I'm not an unreasonable person. There are lots of ways in which we can reach what I think will be a fair agreement. But they have to reach an agreement with us.
Let's shift to public safety briefly. You still do not have a public safety commissioner like Stephen Perry under Mayor Elorza. Are we to assume that will be the case for your tenure moving forward?
I think so. It's been 9 months. Mm-hmm. I haven't missed it. And so I don't want to foreclose the possibility that there might come a moment in the next 4 and hopefully 8 years where it seems that that's actually a really important role for that moment in time, and it might get filled. But for the foreseeable future, I think we've been working fine without it.
Staffing continues to be an issue at the police department. Officers in specialized units are being pulled back and placed onto patrol. I'm hearing from officers that are being told they have to do overtime. This is forced overtime to hit the mandatory minimum manning, which is in the collective bargaining agreement. I will point out, how critical is staffing right now, and should people be worried about public safety?
Staffing is critical, and I don't think people should be worried about public safety, but because of the point that you raise, which is that we're holding people over. So it's a real burden on those officers, it's a burden on their families, and it's not something that we want to have to do. We graduated an academy of 29 officers about a month ago. Mm-hmm. They're going through their field training now. In October, they get sent off on their own. That will provide real relief. That will really help with this dilemma of having to hold people over. And we are actively recruiting for another academy right now. If I can take a moment to plug my new police academy to anybody who might be watching, go to providencepolice.com, learn about it. Please consider applying. It's an incredibly fulfilling career, and our pay is competitive. It's a great department, and we are looking for recruits to continue to staff up. But the immediate pressure of holding people over and such will get better after these new officers finish their field training in October.
So let's talk about politics for a minute.
Yes.
The first congressional district race is over. You stayed studiously neutral out of fear of angering one of the 50,000 Democrats the city needs who was running. But Gabe Amo has won. Yeah. Senator Whitehouse admitted afterwards he voted for Amo. Will you say who you voted for in the race?
No, my vote's private, but Gabe's a good friend. We were colleagues in the Raimondo administration, and then as probably people saw on television commercials, Gabe worked in the Biden administration. And
you don't say.
I think you mentioned that, yeah.
But specifically, his role in the Biden administration, I'm sure amongst other things, was he was the liaison to America's mayors. And so in the first 6 months of this year, before he left, when I was mayor and he was in the White House, I was working with him all the time. He was at the U.S. Conference of Mayors. He was leading conference calls regularly with federal administration in response to a variety of issues. I think he's going to be great. I'm thrilled. I'm really happy for him as a person. I know him well as a friend and someone who kind of grew up in politics in Rhode Island together. He's going to be fabulous. And as a Rhode Islander and as mayor of Providence, I think he's going to be highly effective, not just because of his work ethic and his intellect, but because of the relationships that he has in the federal government to be able to lobby or advocate on behalf of any number of issues that we're applying for grants or seeking reimbursement or aid or what have you. He knows who's who and is going to be great.
I do have to say that he faces a Republican, Gary Leonard, on November 7th, so it is a very Democratic district, so I can see you're maybe looking ahead with some confidence.
Yes, but we'll be helping him in November to make sure that he is in fact our next congressman.
20 seconds is all we have.
Yes.
Cranston Street Armory, are you still in talks with the governor's office over
Yes.
that property?
Yes.
Can you give us a time as to when it might come to a conclusion?
Unfortunately, no. It will come to a conclusion when the city gets as much money as we feel is necessary to effectively redevelop the property. The writer's strike is...
We have to go. Providence Mayor Brett Smiley, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on Newsmakers.